Dr. Kim Anderson, our crop marketing specialist, joins us now. Kim, all eyes are on Ukraine and of course, some of the potential impact that could happen on agriculture. Let's talk about grain and cotton prices and how those may have changed in the past few days.
Well, the big impact's been on wheat prices. Wheat stocks were already tight. Our world production was 28.2 billion bushels, but we're using 29 billion. Stocks were going down. Because of COVID, we came into this with some countries hoarding stocks, and so we had a shortage of wheat already. And then on February 20 and 21 in Oklahoma, our price was right at $8 a bushel. This morning, it was at $10.45. That's a $2.45 price increase for the price of wheat in Oklahoma. You look at corn, we come into corn with it again with tight stocks, and we can go through world production and use and all of that, but stocks were relatively tight around the world. Ukraine does export some corn. Our price was at $6.50 a bushel. It's up to $7.22, a 72-cent price increase. Not as big a price increase with corn as with wheat, but relatively good. The soybean prices, they were actually down yesterday. So you've seen a minor increase in soybean prices, but not much. And in the other grains, of course, sorghum goes up with corn prices.
Let's talk about why there's a bigger impact on wheat prices than some of those other crops.
Well, let's start with corn. We got a 72-cent price increase there, because if you look at the exports coming out of the Black Sea, only 2% of the world's corn exports come out of the Black Sea, and they come from Ukraine. So that's a very small percentage in reduction of exports of corn around the world. Now, but it's at the margin, so it is significant. You look at the soybeans, no exports for your soybeans and your other commodities, including sorghum coming out of the Black Sea. So we've had less of a price increase with the other commodities, except for wheat, and we got that $2.50 price increase in the last couple of weeks. You look at Kazakhstan, and that's a country we're ignoring, but they export 6% of the world's wheat exports. They produce 5% of world production. So you've got Ukraine, 14% of the exports, Russia, 27% of the exports, Kazakhstan. The Black Sea is shut down. That's 47% of the bread, flour, wheat supply cut off from the United States, or from the world. You've got production, the Ukraine, 15% of the world's bread, flour production, Russia at 34%, Kazakhstan at 5%. That's 54% of the world's bread, flour production that may not hit the market as we get into our harvest. Therefore, you had a dramatically higher impact on wheat prices than the other commodities.
Are agricultural producers starting to take advantage of these price increases?
I don't think so. Right now, especially in Oklahoma, most of our wheat area is in severe drought, so we've got the price risk. We don't know how long that's going to go up. You can go back to 2008. In February of 2008, the price of wheat in Oklahoma was $9. Stocks were tight. We had a drought situation, a situation of shortage around the world. Wheat prices, as we got into April, got up to $12.61. But now, the time we got back to harvest, wheat prices were back down around $7.50 or $8. And as you go on out into the year of 2008, they stayed around that $7.50 to $8, and later on moved on down into the $5. So we don't know how long these prices are going to stay up. 85 to 90% of our wheat's been sold, so we can't sell last year's crop, and we've got the yield risk because of the drought. So we don't know how much we can sell at these higher prices, and we don't know how high prices are going to go. If the Black Sea stays shut down, $12 may be a low price.
Wow, that's incredible. I want to make sure I'm hearing you right. $12 wheat is a possibility.
You take 54% of the bread, flour, wheat off the world market, you just don't know where prices are going to go.
Sure. So are you saying that producers should not take advantage of these higher prices, or just kind of let's see how it plays out?
If they haven't forward contracted any wheat, I think, yeah, go ahead and take some, because you know you're going to produce some wheat. However, If we lose our crop, our price is going to stay high and going to go up. And if the Black Sea situation is not settled, we know they're going to be higher than now. However, if that war ends, if they clean things up, Ukraine and Russia and Kazakhstan harvest their wheat and get it on the market, it's going to come down relatively fast. However, remember, we started out with tight stocks, and that no matter what happens there, we're going to have tight stocks as we're in June, July, and August. And so our prices are going to be relatively high. They just might not be up at $12 or $14.
Kim, I'll be honest, it kind of gives me some butterflies in my stomach. What else should producers be concerned about? I mean, this is enough, but is there something else they should be thinking about as well?
Well, you look on the surface, producers are, if they can harvest some wheat, they're looking at bringing in some big money. I mean, big money. However, Russia is a major exporter of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium fertilizers. If we can't get, and those prices are going to go up. Now, fortunately, the winter wheat, most of the fertilizer, the top dressing is done. There will be some coming on. The summer crops, it's going to hit those costs of production hard, irrespective of what happens over there. And so the input costs are going to be higher. So I think they're going to make money at these prices, but they're not going to make as much as it looks like on the surface.
Lots of information, Kim. We appreciate your perspective, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next week.